recipient? So we laughed and we said, no, she's just my friend. And they brought her over with all her luggage to there's an apartment hotel nearby where you can stay, where you're doing these tests. And they brought me right into the test because we were late. So I was like, test, and I kept passing the test. And I was like one of those kids in school, like always wanted to do well. Like I was like one of those kids, right? So I like passing tests. The only thing I ever failed in my life was a driver's test. I'm still traumatized by it, right? So I'm passing the test, yay, I'm passing the test. So finally, after the day of tests, I go back to the apartment hotel. Now Rebecca looks like a completely different person. She has showered, and she's rested, and she's unpacked. And we were laughing how they thought that she was the recipient. And remember, Rebecca was against this. And I said, Rebecca, you know if you needed a kidney, I'd give you my kidney. She goes, I know. I go, then how can I not give it to this woman just because I've never met her? She goes, okay. Okay, so now she was on board. So now I go back, and my husband, in the meantime, has still not asked the Chaya, okay? Like, it's unbelievable. He's like in denial, this is really happening, all right? So my daughter was going to Turo at the time, and she was working part-time at Lipschutz in New York, and she calls me up one day, and she says, the Rosh Hashiva is here, the Rosh Hashiva is here. And I'm like, Abba has to talk to him, get Abba on the phone. So she got my husband on the phone, and she hands the phone to Rabbi Noach Weinberg's son. And my husband explained what I was planning to do, and asked, is this the right thing? And Rabbi Noach Weinberg said that this is a very big mitzvah, and that you should support Lori 100%. And that was it. That's all my husband needed to hear. So part of these battery of tests, they don't just give you medical tests, they also give you psychological tests to make sure, like, okay, like, why are you doing this? And they're also very careful to make sure that you're not being compensated. It's like a whole thing that's going on here. And they want to make sure that your spouse is positive. So at one point, my husband actually had to come to New York. They need to see the spouse, and the spouse says, yes, I will support this, all right? So they do that. They want to make sure that everything's fine at work, that your boss supports it. And since my husband was my boss at work, so that worked out fine too. So they want to make sure they protect the donor all the way through. So after this battery of tests and everything was passed and everything, so we sat down, and Dr. Greenstein said, okay, so let's set a date. And that was my next moral dilemma. Because at that point, I was coming back, and we were moving from a townhouse to a house. So I said, well, I can't do it now, because we're moving. And then it was, again, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. I said, I can't do it then. It's because they need me in the community and speaking and whatever, and all the things that we do. And I said, and then it's my daughter's bas mitzvah, and I can't, and all the plans. And then some people book me like a year in advance to speak, and I can't just cancel on them after, they've been planning this and they advertised this. And then I felt terrible. I said, here I am. I'm too busy. Here's this woman, and she needs a kidney. They decided this one woman in particular was the best match for me, this woman from Muncie, and I'm too busy. And they go, no, Lord. They protect the donor all the way through. They go, it has to be good for you. Don't worry, we're sustaining her. It has to be good for you. So we decided, based on my schedule and the transplant clinic schedule, that mid-December was going to be the best date. Because in Kiruv world, it's slow time in December, because everybody goes away. So we decided that that's going to be it. So we set the date. So now I go back to my life. And I have to start setting up my life, because knowing that I'm going to be away for a while, and then when I come back, I'm going to also be recovering a little bit. So it's not a long recovery, but you have to make sure you have everything's all set up. All right. So 2 weeks before the surgery, I get a phone call, and it's from the clinic, and they said, we told the woman who's receiving your kidney today that she has a kidney. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what did she say? You have to know, why did they wait till 2 weeks before? Because a lot of people back out. A lot of people back out. You can see why they back out, okay? Like, no one is supporting you through this whole thing. So, and unless I was completely driven to do this, you can see why you would back out. So many people back out that they don't want to give false hope to the recipient. So I said, what did she say? They said, well, she was so emotional, she couldn't believe it. And they said, do you want to speak to her? I go, yes, no, yes, no, yes. I had mixed feelings. My husband said, don't speak to her. Why? He said, what if she's not a nice person? Just because she's calm and she's a kidney doesn't mean she's nice. Because what if she's judgmental? What if she's a smoker? He said, you're still going to give her your kidney, but it's going to take away a little bit of pleasure. He goes, better not to know. But I felt instinctively that I needed more of an emotional connection to this woman to get me through the next few weeks. So I said to them, yes, I would like to speak to her. This is my cell phone number. Tell her she does not have to call me, but if she wants to talk to me, I would like to speak to her. And can I tell you, I left my cell phone out 24/7, the 6, okay? 24/6. So one day, every time the phone rang, my heart leapt, like, oh, maybe it's her, and it was never her. Finally, 3 days in, it's a Wednesday night, and I was walking in to speak at Isha Torah. And I'm walking in, and my phone rang, and without looking at it, I was like, hello? And it was her. I'm like, oh my gosh, I so want to speak to you, but I'm about to walk into a class. Can you call me in an hour? She says, of course. So I'm teaching, and as I'm teaching, I'm like completely distracted. And at the end of the class, usually the women want to come up to me, they want to talk to me, and at the end of the class, I was like, class is over, see you next week, bye. All right? And I went into my office, and she called, and we talked for 4 hours. The first thing she said to me, she said, Lori, what's thank you? I'm just going to say thank you. And then she asked, who are you? And I said, are you in front of your computer? She goes, yes. I go onto h.com. She goes onto h.com. I said, scroll down, you see there's video blogs. There's one called Lori Almost Live. It's this 3-minute thing I do every week. She clicks on, I go, that's me, and that's what I do. And then we want to know everything about each other's lives. And she turns out we're about the same age, and she's like this high energy person. And she told me her story, that over a year before, that she was going to get a hernia taken care of, and she went for routine blood tests. And based on these blood tests, when the blood test came back, the doctor said to her, something's wrong with you. Because when your kidneys are failing, you don't even know until really it's too late. And they told her that she had a kidney disease and that the only cure was going to be a transplant. So immediately what you do, if you're in this situation, is you put yourself on these lists waiting for a kidney. In New York State, it's a 5 to 8 year waiting list. All right? People die every day waiting for kidneys. And it's a 5 to 8 year waiting list for a cadaver kidney. That means a person who's already passed away. And it's much better for a person to receive a live kidney. And it's much better for a person to receive a live kidney before they even go on dialysis. Because going on dialysis a lot of toxins you're getting sicker and sicker and sicker on dialysis, and it's no life. So here she is. She told me she went on the list in New York State. She went to other states that put on lists because they thought it was a shorter list. Everybody around her was tested. And nobody matched her, none of her family matched her, except for her sister. Her sister matched her. But her sister had had kidney problems early in life. She had kidney stones, and they didn't want to do the surgery. But they appealed, and they found a clinic that would do the surgery. And 3 days before the surgery, they canceled the surgery. Because one of the tests showed that her sister was spilling protein into her urine, and if there's not a 1,000% chance this is going to work, they're not going to do it. She said, Lori, when they canceled the surgery, she goes, my sister was inconsolable, my kids were devastated, and I didn't leave my room for a week. And then she got the phone call about me. So, again, I had to set up my life a little bit, and carpools and all things. We don't have busing, okay? So carpools, and people were terrific, and people were really, but though I'll have to tell you, after classes, again, these are secular women I'm dealing with, like sometimes a woman will, after class, will be like, can we have coffee? Can we get together privately and have coffee? And usually, in my world, that means either my husband's having an affair, or I just found that I'm not really Jewish, okay? Like, really, that's usually what it is. This is the life I have. So, in this case, though, people were asking to meet me for coffee. It wasn't those two things. They were meeting to try to talk me out of it. Right, to say, I'm here, and they would say, I'm here to talk you out of this. I don't want you to do this. And they would give me all the reasons. A lot of people have misconceptions about it, and that's why they're trying to talk me out of it. And people do, and even my husband had misconceptions. First, my husband says, okay, what happens if you give away your kidney and save this woman's life, and then down the road, one of our children, right, one of our children needs a kidney, and now you've already given away your kidney. So I said to my husband, first of all, what are the chances that our kids are going to need a kidney? And if that happens, I hope that by doing what I'm doing, that their siblings will fight who will give their kidney to that sibling.